Wholesales, it will slowly be out of business. Give them a couple of years as the law shuts them down everywhere. Jessica, you had a deal, right? You wanted everybody's help on?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go with basics. Let's just like a deal structure. What's the source first?
Facebook.
Oh yeah, you said that. Awesome. Well, okay, so for everybody's sake, this was as a result of Zach's talk? Or no?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and what kind of, give us a scenario with the seller.
They bought the house last March, and they're looking to move because they want the sellers. I don't know if they want the mom to move in. I think that the mom needs to move in, but there's stairs in there, so they need to find somewhere that's more convenient for the mom to move into. Excuse me. They had it on the market and it didn't sell, and she doesn't really want to go through showings again because they have dogs and people just show up, and it was just a lot in terms of showings. And she said her neighbors would just come just because they wanted to look at the house with no intent of actually buying it. So she doesn't want to show it, or she doesn't want to really put it.
So this was on the open market, realtor?
Yeah, I believe so. I don't know actually, because they have a lot of properties.
Yeah, but if they had neighbors coming, I'm betting there was a realtor.
Yeah, I think there. Yeah, actually, I think there was.
Yeah, when I had my house, I think every neighbor on the planet came, and it was with a realtor. Okay, so what were they on for? I just want to get it all in my head first.
I don't know. Oh, I don't know, but she wants $470 for it.
Okay, so let's list some questions, okay, Jessica? And then Mike will have some too. We want to find out what it was on for, so maybe go into Zillow and see if you can find that it was on with a realtor or realtor.com. If not, just ask.
Yes.
Because here would be my next conversation. What was it on for? Let's just say it was $470 then too. Okay, so when it was on, you didn't sell it, but what were you expecting to net in your mind after realtor and after negotiating and all that? Get that number solid. Because that number is going to be, if it was with a realtor at that number is going to be somewhere around 450 less closing. Like she's going to say somewhere between 4 and 445, probably. So therein lies your better number already, and then go into it. So go ahead. What else do you know?
I know that the mortgage is over $3,000 a month because they only put 5% down. And
so
their
PMI.
And the interest rate is 6.25. I know that.
Okay.
Let's see. She.
Do you know what they owe yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, we got to get that. So what were you on for? What were you expecting to net, and what's left on the mortgage? Just say it that way. What's left on the mortgage? It can't be too low. Once you find out what they bought it for, you're gonna know, but just ask them those questions.
Yeah, she bought it it says sold for $445. There's no listing for that though, like no listing from a realtor after that. So I don't know if it was on the market.
Private or whatever.
Yeah, I don't see that.
Okay, so they just bought it in March for $445 and they're trying to get $470?
Yes.
Okay. Mike, do you have any questions before Jessica hits us with what she wants to do?
Well, the last thing would be, where are they going to go, right? If you sell it, they're obviously are they going to buy another house? Or are they going to go rent? Like, because that could hold things up too, right?
She said she could, they would rent somewhere until they found something to buy.
Oh, okay. Good.
Okay. That's good.
So the problem is okay. I was going into this with the idea of expanding what Zach was saying and potentially getting it under contract and doing something with a wholesaler or something along those lines, because she wants 10% down. She wants she wants at least 30,000 to cover closing costs, or the cost to move. Because it costs money to sell a house, it costs money to buy a house. So she said she wanted 10% down initially, but when I talked with her further, I asked what she needed. She said she needs around 30,000.
I could think of a few things right away. Go ahead. Yeah, Mike.
Equity, right, Chris?
Yeah, that's.
She doesn't have 30,000 in equity. You know, we can't give her can't give her that, right? I mean,
Yeah, we got to get more data, Jessica, for that reason, because like she told you pieces, but you can't even answer that piece about the down payment until you know what she owes. And then the question is another question for you to ask her. So you got like 5 already. Okay, I get it. Looks like it looks like you're asking for all the equity up front. What if it doesn't happen? What are you gonna do? What's your plan B? I would ask her that.
mm-hmm.
So you're just in like ask mode right now, because why? Because you're buying. You need to say, I got stuff. I got to piece all this together. Let me ask you a few questions, and you just rattle those off.
Okay.
If you get all those
Definitely.
questions answered, and then just say, okay, I'm gonna go talk to my partner about and try to figure something out to help, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and purchase your property. I think they'd keep an open mind with you and be very responsive going forward.
Okay. It was.
I wouldn't think
yeah.
wholesale yet, by the way, Jessica. There's no reason to think wholesale yet.
Yeah. I guess I was just thinking that because also the rent, it won't rent for what the rental is less than what her monthly mortgage payment. So she said she could probably rent it somewhere around like 25 to 2,800 a month. And then the taxes, I did ask about that. It's about 141. So it doesn't get you to the 3,000. Like, I don't know exactly what the mortgage is. She said it's over a little over 3,000, I think. So that was another thing.
So
That was
that could be an
another thing.
AO though.
Mhm.
Yes, and so I presented that to her because that's as I was talking to her, I was just kind of thinking, okay, you want money down, you have other properties, and you were going to rent this out, but you didn't because of the difference. But she basically said, I can go. She was, I don't, in her mind, she was thinking it was a tent, like a tent. She kept saying tenant, and I kept saying these people put significant money down. We work with buyers, not tenants. We're not landlords. We work with buyers. But she kept saying, well, I can go find somebody to find 10% down. I've done that before, and they walk away from 10%. She also said she doesn't want to pay me $23,000, or she doesn't want me to get $23,000 to go find a tenant when she could go find somebody on her own.
There's a bunch of things here for coaching. If she said to you she was gonna rent it, and if that's her answer when you say, what if this doesn't happen, then she doesn't need 10% down. That's number one. She wants 10% down, right? She was gonna rent. So number one. Number two, she's not paying you anything. That discussion shouldn't have come up yet, just for your future calls. You just focus 100% on what you're getting her. You say, I don't know what I'm going to do on my end yet. I get paid by the buyer, so don't worry about that yet. Let's focus on you. What's the minimum, and et cetera, et cetera. Only focus on her, never on what you're going to make. Especially this early in the game. I wouldn't even went there yet until you have all this data.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. So if there's several times in an initial conversation, if I'm presenting an AO, I tell them I'm not taking money out of their equity, that we're getting money down, and I split that money with them.
Above
So
and
that's-
beyond
that's
price,
how-
usually. Yeah, that's how I say it.
That's how I get. So it was just a hypothetical. If you got
Got it.
if we got 10% down, then I just said I would split it with you, and that's where she came up with the 23,000.
Got it. So here, you guys
I
might
didn't
have
say
heard
that
this.
specifically.
No, you're okay in the AO. I get it. I would do that. In the script channel, there was at least a couple where, and they were higher end, where the seller asked me about that. And I said, let's not even focus on that right now, because all I want you to focus on is what I'm promising you. What I get above and beyond that doesn't come out of your pocket. And I just pivot off of it again, just for food for thought here. But I think you need to get the rest of the data, and she needs a little pain. She doesn't have any right now. It sounds like she's a little cocky, to say the least. So play with the questions a little bit, and then unless someone else has a comment or a question about it, play with those questions a little bit, and then let's see where she is. If you get her to a point where you gathered all that, and she's come back to reality, or in a month or two she does, then that'd be a great follow-up call with me and Mike.
So
at
is the
that point,
only
it's like-
motivation, sorry, Chris, is the only motivation the mother coming and having a 2-story home, or is it the affordability of the payment?
I think it's more so the mom.
Oh, okay.
And Mike, good question. That might come out when she says, I'm just curious. So if this doesn't go, and you don't get 10%, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And then no matter what she says, it sounds like she might need a little more time.
Right.
Yeah. and she did say she's okay coming out of pocket for a couple $100 each month for a period of time. So I don't think
That was my next
money-
comment. Yeah,
Yeah, I
because
don't-
for everybody's sake, let's say I've had a guy subsidize as much as $1,200, and it was one of my first earlier deals, so because he just couldn't keep the payment up. So let's hypothetically say you take the taxes off, and you by the time you're done, you're 300 negative. That's $3,600. In the course of 2 years, it's only $7,200. So you justify to the seller, I'm going to get you more than that with an AO, and here's how. I'm going to get you the $7,200 back. You just have to come up with it every month. I'm going to give you some up front and some over time. So many things that we don't know yet until we bring it to market.
So what she had it listed for, what she owes, what is her plan B, and was there another one?
Yeah, the last plan B. Yeah, you said that. What she owes. What did she have it listed for? Was it listed with the realtor or was it?
We don't know.
FSBO. Okay.
Well, it
That's a
looks
good
like
thing.
no. Jessica said.
Yeah, I couldn't see anything on Zillow, but I can look on Realtor.com.
I mean, you could just, it's a simple question. Hey,
Oh,
when
I
you
know
had
what it
that-
was, Mike.
Yeah.
It was, what did she think she was going to net when she was on blah, blah, blah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
What are you looking to net when all things are said and done?
Okay.
Record
got
that, Jessica, and let Mike and I hear that, so that even if it's a month from now, if we're coming back in the picture, we know what was going on. And more so, I said this to Dan this morning, like Dan had a guy that backed out of a deal. And I said, essentially, I think if I came across properly, Dan, this morning, what I meant to say when I was huffing and puffing on my machine was, Dan didn't get the deal, but the questions that this guy threw at him and a couple of things is the best thing he could have went through, because this is a coaching environment, right? You get to stack some cool answers. So the next time someone says, well, I'm going to project out 3 years and it's going to appreciate, and that's why I want that, he has the answer, right? So it doesn't, just use this as a stacking of coaching all the time. For you guys to get better and better.
One other thing, sorry, this is kind of important, but she was worried. She basically wants the title out of her name. She doesn't care if the loan stays in her name. She wants the title out of her name because she doesn't want the home to come back to her. She doesn't want to be responsible for anything. That was another thing that kind of threw me.
There's got to be more to this story, then, don't you think, Mike?
I've never heard
This
that
is
in my
good,
life.
but there's more to this woman's story that you don't know yet. Then, okay,
Yeah.
so here's another question, Jessica: who's on the deed
Mhm.
and who's on the mortgage if she's married? You might uncover something here, and if it's not today, it's going to be another day, because that comment is awesome for us. But why? What's going on here?
Yeah, she's giving up all of her power and keeping all the liabilities. It doesn't make sense.
It almost seems like. Did you ask if she's current? There's a sixth question. Can I assume you're current, or will we be needing to make up back payments? Say it like almost, it's not a bad thing. I just need to know, will we be making up back payments, or are you current?
That's why
'Cause
I
it
was asking
almost-
what the real motivation is. Is it
Yeah.
really the mother that's coming because of stairs? They don't want her. I mean, I don't know. That kind of sounds.
Yeah.
It's a drastic move, right? I mean, I can understand it's a want, but it's not like a need, right? Immediate need. So it could be financial.
She's being evasive. I'm laughing because she's not letting you know yet, but she's going to eventually if she wants to do this.
Yeah, and all you have to do
Uh,
from this point on is just act like you're trying. I mean, come from the position that you're trying to help, right? Trying to put together, formulate a structure, a deal for you that will help you get to where you want to go, right?
Yeah, this is gonna be good, Jessica. I hope you guys are getting some nuggets out of this, everyone else, because I think there's a lot of normal coaching points here that are going to come out for you guys. So this is really good. So we went from 4 to 6 to now at least questions. That's good. All right, you got a lot of digging to do. Mike gave you the line. I talked to my partners, and there's definitely some more data I got to pull, and then just start rattling off assumptively like she's got to answer you.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions on that dialogue we had or anything else? And if not, I can share what Dan went through, because that's a coaching moment, as well as what Mallory went through this morning.
I've got something for us unless someone else does. Go ahead, Janice.
I wanted to ask about arrogant sellers who I guess don't have much motivation, or they're really hanging on to their arrogance till the end. But there's a couple where they just want to text only and they don't want me to call or they don't agree to picking up the phone. And they, like, one just texted this morning, send me an offer or don't even call back. And they just want something in text. And I don't know what I should respond in terms of opening up their curiosity to the lease purchase or.
No, you don't just, I want Mike's response because there's no wrong answer here, but I just have no patience for that. You're not in, oh, I got to sell them now. Nope. You're in, hey, I'm sure it's one of the most valuable assets you have. It's your home. We don't send offers. I know nothing about your house. That might be a flipper or a wholesaler trying to do that. That's not us. If you want to chat, I'm open to chat. Table it for 30 days.
Yep.
Something like that. Mike, would you do something different?
No, I would definitely respond with that. And then if they do respond with something else, you could also go back to your due diligence, right? I haven't done my due diligence. We do want to see the property before we make a serious offer.
Yeah.
You know, make them feel like you're serious, right? And by going to see the property and putting the time in to do that is going to make it feel like you are serious, right? So throw that out there as well. And then hopefully by then they're able to connect with you on the phone and talk.
And how do I know if I'm not wasting my time if I haven't asked them would they be open to lease purchase or not, just over text? And I don't want to go see it unless they are open, right?
Well, when you're saying you want to go see it, I mean, you're trying to open the door to have the conversation on the phone and then go over the details first, and then go to the property, right? You're not going to go there first without going over the details.
Okay. Thank you.
You guys all going to get that
I'm
too,
sure they're going to
Janice.
want to talk to you before giving you access to the property, and then, and then just talking through a text.
That's right.
More than likely, right?
That cracks me up. Make me an offer. They're so used to wholesales and flippers. That's what they think you're doing.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're getting bombarded. That's why.
That's right.
That's okay. The wholesales, it will slowly be out of business. Give them a couple of years as the law shuts them down everywhere.